Welcome to the first episode of the Pace Pushers podcast, where we talk all things running. I'm JD. I run a 5:05 mile, 10:35 2 mile, and a 17:51 5K.
I'm Ryan. I run a 4:30 mile, a 2:01 800, and a 16:45 5K.
Today we will be reviewing the Nike ZoomX Dragonfly track spikes.
So these shoes are listed on Running Warehouse for $149. They're not cheap. And the Dragonfly is the go-to for many high school, college, and pro athletes. Now these shoes feature a full-length P-Bax plate. So that's this pink plate right here. And they have a ZoomX insole. And then of course, the signature Flyknit upper of the Nike Spike.
Yeah. At every big meet or even pretty small meets, you always see the shoe in most distance runners, especially in the 1K mile and 2 mile.
Yeah, and these shoes are almost ever on the collegiate pro level. I know when these shoes first came out, a lot of pro runners from other teams like On Cloud and Adidas, they were allowing their guys to actually wear these Nike Spikes because they were just so good and so fast. Yeah. All right, so the first category we're going to be looking at is looks. So these guys are I love this color wave. It's awesome. The pink, these came out. They have a neon green as well to go with the hot pink on a different color wave. And they haven't really updated this shoe technologically at all since their inception, but they have had few different color waves. They had a blue and white one, and they've also had an off-green one as well. And so this is my favorite color wave personally. And if you take a look at these shoes, they're just so aggressive looking. They have almost this here they have a 2-inch kind of toe drop. And so that really helps you when you're running. And just at first glance, they're really aggressive. They just look really fast.
Yeah, I'd have to give this a 5 out of 5. Especially just mentioning the aggressiveness and the color. When you see somebody, when you're about to race on the line with these shoes, you know that they're going to run pretty fast. It's going to be a good race.
Exactly, yeah. And also the thing I love about these Nike Spikes, and they're featured on a lot of other Nike Spikes, is that they have this hole here in the back. And, some people think it's a little unconventional and weird, but it really does allow a little bit of breathability, especially with that Flyknit upper. And so I just think really comprehensively this shoe is pretty awesome looking. So I'd agree. I'd give it a 5 out of 5 on looks.
Yeah. Okay, so the next category is comfort.
So comfort spikes generally aren't supposed to be very comfortable. So when I first started out, when we both first started out running track and cross country, I went with some more cushion spikes. I started out with New Balance and Saucony because they just have a little bit more cushion. But these Nike Spikes are really for people who want to run fast and they're not really concerned about comfort. Overall, they're pretty stable. I don't have any really stability issues. My foot feels locked in when I'm racing, but it's a spike and they kind of hurt your feet. I really will feel the balls of my feet and my toes kind of cramping up a little bit if I try to run too much in these, especially when I'm walking. If I'm on a workout and I'm walking, these guys are killer for your feet. So I give them a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I give them a 4 out of 5 as well. For spikes, they are very comfortable, even though spikes aren't designed to be. Just when you're racing, you want the best shoe you can have possible. And obviously when you're racing, everything's going to hurt. You're not going to be feeling great. But these shoes are great, and the comfort is, 4 out of 5.
So moving on to the next category, speed. These are really the marketing. This is what Nike markets them for. So on the Nike website, if you go on the Nike website, they actually market these guys for events 1,500 meters up to the 10K. And so that's kind of what's considered mid-distance to distance events in track. These are not meant for cross country. Nike did release a counterpart to this spike, the Nike ZoomX Dragonfly XC, which we both raced in this season, and those were awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
We can do a future episode on those, but for these guys, they're exclusively meant for track, and they are meant for speed. This P-Bax plate gives that snappy responsiveness. I can really feel if you try to bend these shoes, you just can't. It's snappy. They're hard. That gives you that energy return that Nike is really big about in their marketing. And honestly, for me, I run in this, the longest track event I run is the full mile, which is 1,609 meters. And I think these spikes work perfectly for that. And I also have raced some shorter events like the 800 and 1K in them, which they're not technically marketed for. And there's some other Nike shoes out on the market but for that. But I find these to be perfect for, honestly, all of the mid-distance and distance events that I run.
Yeah, I run about the same events as Ryan. I do the 2 mile occasionally, and the 2 mile feels great in these because they are marketed for that. And for the 1K, they don't feel like as great as they do for the 2 mile, but that's not what they're made for, but they're still great to race in.
And I just really feel like when I'm racing on like a nice track like Yale, Hill House, or
Armory,
SCSU, like these guys just dig into the track. They're so aggressive, and this toe drop that I mentioned earlier, like it's forcing you to get up on your toes, because when you're racing fast, you're not heel striking. Like you're up on your toes, you're being aggressive, and this shoe really makes you do that. And so honestly, I wouldn't use any other shoe for a fast race. Like, these are my go-to. I give them a 5 out of 5 on speed. They're quick, they're fast, they're light. Also, I should mention these shoes only weigh 4.7 ounces, or grams, 4.7 ounces, grams. I'm not sure what it is. Something like that. Standard shoe. We'll look it up later. But for a men's size 9, and so they're really light. Like, compared to other spikes like my Sauconys I had before, the pink ones, and my New Balance XC7s, like those guys were heavy. Like, these guys are light. You feel light.
Yeah, I used to race in Sauconys as well, and I raced my sophomore year cross-country season in Sauconys. And yeah, they're just really heavy. This is a lot lighter weight, and it's just a better shoe overall. So yeah, I did these a 5 out of 5 for speed.
All right, 5 out of 5 speed. All right, moving on to durability. JD, do you want to start on durability?
Yeah, so Ryan's ran more races in this season than I have with these shoes. I've ran 2, soon to be 3. But as you can see, this the ZoomX chips a lot after races. These are my pair, so they're not as chipped. But it is an issue. So our store for durability is going to be relatively low.
Yeah, so I've raced a few more times than JD in these. I think I've probably raced 4 or 5 times this season in them. And really, the instant that you're putting them onto the track, and anything like any disruptive, like if there's like spikes on the track, spikes left over, whatever, if you're walking on pavement to get to the track on these guys, like they are going to get torn up. Like the bottom of this, you can't really see it on here, but this bottom really just gets torn up. Like I see, like the ZoomX insole just gets chipped up here, like the plastic backplate and the P-backs gets torn up, especially right here on these ridges on the pink P-backs, and on the outside of the insole, the ZoomX just starts to like flake off. It's not really meant to be durable. These shoes are not durable. That's one of the big drawbacks of them. And honestly, because they're so expensive, like I really would expect a little bit better durability from Nike, and so I'm not really pleased with that.
It does make up a little bit because it has the dip, so it's more of like a toe striking shoe. But yeah, it's definitely a big issue. I would give this a 2 out of 5.
Yeah,
probably.
even when I'm trying to do a track workout and I might have to walk on the pavement like just for a few seconds, like I can see this thing getting like the whole bottom is just destroyed. Mm-hmm. And even when I'm on my heel, if I'm walking, like the back of this is not meant to be walked upon. And so I give it a 2 out of 5. Yeah, 2 out of 5 for durability.
Okay, so on the value, you should start us off with this, but yeah.
All right, so value, these guys, like obviously, like we said, they're $149. I got them, both JD and I got our Dragonflies at the Darien Running Company in Darien, and since even though they did have a spike event going on, they didn't give us a discount on these guys, and so I had bought them for the full price of $180, which I was pretty disappointed. Yeah. Like these shoes have been out for a really long time, and I wanted to get a better deal on them. If you go online, you could probably find them marked down for about $120, but these are really expensive.
Yeah. I'd say I give it a 4 out of 5 here. I mean, everything except for the durability is really good with these shoes, so it's obviously not 100% worth it, but if you are a diehard runner, if you like running track, if you run both track seasons and you also run cross country and you plan on running in college or for all of high school, I would probably recommend getting these shoes. They have good value and they last about 2 seasons.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make it through all of indoor and outdoor with these guys. Like I said, the price is a drawback. Like you can find spikes on the market for $60. They're not gonna have as great value, but they're cheaper. But I'm really pleased with these guys so far, as long as I don't use them too much and mind the durability, like not putting more than 200 miles on these guys in racing and workouts. I think they're worth it. They're really fast, and I'm still impressed by the quality of the Nike shoe and Nike's products in general. And so I would give this a comprehensive value score of 4 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to our comprehensive review, once we've tallied up all of our scores, we're going to give this in general a 4 out of 5 score on the total scale using our averages. Like I said, this shoe is definitely not for beginner runners. Like if you're starting out, this shoe is really not meant to be like freshman season. I would not buy these freshman first track season. I think like once you start to get faster and you're more experienced, I'd consider yourself a little bit less of an amateur. I would go to these guys. These like all the pro runners use them. Most of the collegiate runners use them. I see a lot of guys in high school going right to these. Like JD said, they're flashed all over the meets. Like you just see a bunch of kids walking around in the pink Dragonflies. Like, honestly, this is the go-to spike. This is Nike's premier distance running spike. I would give them a 4 out of 5 overall.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And these shoes, definitely are not for beginners. This is my 3rd year running and my 2nd year, really, being into the sport. And this is my first pair of Nike shoes I own. I also own the Vaporfly 3s, but aside from that, this is my first pair of Nike shoe. And it's really good, but definitely if you're starting out running, if this is your 1st or 2nd year or you're planning on getting into it, and you want spikes, I would suggest going to a different brand like Brooks, Saucony, New Balance, and wait on these and get them when you're more committed and when you're faster.
All right, so thanks for tuning into the pilot episode of the Shoe Review Podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode on the Nike ZoomX Vaporfly 3s. See you guys later.
Bye.